Hello.
Good, Jean?
What's up, girl? Talk to me.
You know I'm working hard on being even more active, right? So we're going to the TDC Home and Building Depot to get a blender, weights, a yoga mat, and a bike for Clive too.
You serious? Something keep in there?
Yes, girl, all month long. Shop in store, get 20% in savings on health and wellness products like blenders, juicers, air fryers, waist trainers, and more.
Girl, Betty, you're joking.
I don't have time for jokes. Get yourself sorted because in February we're staying active with TDC HBD.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We have some very special guests joining us in studio. Today, we have Dr. Marissa Carty, Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, as well as Latoya Matthew Duncan, Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Voices. How are you guys doing today? Dr. Carty?
Thank you so much for having us. We're doing quite well, thanks.
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
Hi, good morning to everyone. We are fabulous, like Dr. Carty said. It's a pleasure being here this morning in studio with you.
Awesome. So today we are here to talk about World Kidney Day as well as National Salt Awareness Week. Can you tell us more about some of the activities that you have planned for National Salt Awareness Week?
Oh, okay. We have quite a bit of activities planned. Most of them are geared towards for World Kidney Day, which is a global campaign aimed at raising awareness of the importance of our kidneys. It's celebrated every year globally, and many events takes place not only here in St. Kitts but also in the rest of the world. They look at screening, health education sessions, and all of these are geared towards the awareness about risk factors and how persons who are living with kidney disease should be living, as well as individuals who have non-communicable disease to try to prevent some of these from progressing towards kidney disease. Mm-hmm. So some of the activities we have specifically for kidney disease, and usually we celebrate Salt Awareness Week as well as kidney disease during the same period. Salt Awareness Week is actually March 4th to the 11th, and Kidney Disease Day is celebrated on the 9th, so both overlap. So we tend to put both activities together, and especially with consuming too much salt, being a risk factor for hypertension as well as a risk factor for kidney disease, we only feel that it is appropriate that we merge both. So some of the activities we have for March 1st to 9th, we will be having awareness activities. And good morning, SKN. We will have some nurses from the hemodialysis unit, as well as some of our co-workers from the ICDF program. On the 6th to the 7th, we will be having renal health education sessions at the hemodialysis unit, where we will be basically reinforcing education to kidney disease clients and how they should be managing their condition. So we will be looking at nutrition, physical activity, as well as knowing their numbers assisting them with being able to know what stage they are at, what numbers to look for when it comes to their labs. On the 8th, we are going to have a Get Active Day. And this is a physical activity session which takes place at 4:30 in the afternoon. And we are inviting the general public and other individuals to come out and work out with us. The session will be with Mr. Elston Nisbet. He's a well-known physical activity, let me say, guru, and he really knows how to get the crowd work up. And so we are asking persons to join us on March 8th for that activity. On March 9th, we call this activity Eat the Rainbow Today, where we are encouraging individuals to consume salad only for their main meal for March 9. And why we said to eat the rainbow, because we don't want it to be just a sorry-looking salad where it is just green or it is just red. We want them to have a variety of colors in that salad. So we are encouraging persons to eat the rainbow, have a salad on March 9th.
Can you tell us more about the Get Active Day? How do you sign up? Is it free or do you just show up?
It's free, you just show up.
Mm-hmm. And where is it being held?
And we are looking at facilitating it at the Newtown Playfield. We are still waiting for final approval, but that is the tentative venue.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now, what are some of the efforts being carried out by the Ministry of Health to reduce the salt intake of people in St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly in the schools, the primary schools? Can you tell us about that?
Well, as it pertains to reducing the salt intake, I wouldn't say there's a specific program that we have from the Ministry of Health for that. But what the nutrition program has been doing is working with the school meals program in helping them to develop their meal plan, so that the individuals who prepare the meals for the students are taking into consideration the amount of salt that they can put into the meals. Other than that, we are working towards preparing policies that go towards salt reduction in some of the other areas as well. One of the areas that we recognize that in St. Kitts and Nevis that we have a lot of salt in is in the preparation of our breads. St. Kitts and Nevis love bread. And so that's one of the areas that we are going to be looking at. The nutrition program is basically spearheading that area, and so they're going to be meeting with the stakeholders, discussing with them exactly how we could go about working with our bakeries on a whole in order to reduce the salt content of our breads and pastries and so forth. So that's basically where we're at as it pertains to that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now, World Kidney Day is being celebrated on March 9th. Any specific activity for that day?
Well, for that day, we are just doing awareness activities in the media. However, during the rest of the week, we will be hosting various education sessions. Like I said earlier, on the Monday and the Tuesday, we'll be at the hemodialysis unit, where we'll be interacting specifically with those individuals who suffer from kidney disease, to not only bring additional awareness to the condition, but to also educate them on self-management, because we do have quite a few individuals who are currently suffering from kidney disease, but they do require some assistance as it relates to the management of their conditions. So when they are home, they know exactly when it is time for them to call their doctor, when their condition might be progressing, what foods they should be eating and what foods they should not be eating, how active they should be, the signs and symptoms of the condition itself and what those signs and symptoms basically mean. So we are going directly to those individuals on the Monday and the Tuesday. Previously, we have held various workshops for caregivers as well as other individuals of persons who suffer with kidney disease, because usually we don't want to encourage or just educate those individuals who already have the condition. we like to do sessions where persons become well aware of the condition, that persons know that the condition exists in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we also encourage them to not only keep the information for themselves, but also share it with other individual family members, community members, and also persons to help us to spread the awareness for kidney disease.
All right. It is 14 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour here on my watch. Sorry. So we'll take a break to give a shout out to the sponsors. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on Voices on Win FM 98.9. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9. Win FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow!
Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around. Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Fruta full of vitamin thing. Real fruit juice, no full of vitamin. Pop open the goodness, just dive in. Fruta every night, fruta every morning.
It's the amazing taste and quality in fruit juice you've come to know and love. Anytime, anywhere, any occasion. Fruta is your tastier, better, healthier choice.
We got the vibes, fruta. Real nice, fruta.
And for the families, remember to pick up the 1 liter.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, we have in studio with us today Dr. Marissa Carty, Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, as well as Latoya Matthew Duncan, the Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator. Again, thank you guys so much for joining the program for today, Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. We are here on the topic of National Salt Awareness Week, which runs from March 4th to 11th, as well as Kidney Day, World Kidney Day, which is on March 9th. Now, while National Salt Awareness Week is celebrated within that specific time frame, the 4th to the 11th, I believe it is still important for people to know what are some of the tips that they can apply in their lifestyles to reduce their salt intake. Can you share some of those tips as well as sharing some of the health risks when you consume too much salt?
Okay. Well, as it pertains to salt, salt is one of those substances that increases the risk of developing non-communicable diseases. We're talking about conditions such as heart disease, stroke, as mentioned before, kidney disease. So when you consume too much salt, it can, what it does, it causes the bloodstream to increase in water content in order to dilute that salt. And so that increases the volume, the blood volume within the blood vessels, and that increases your blood pressure. Now, with this increase in blood pressure, which is what we term as the hypertension, then that can lead to cardiovascular disease, because that pressure then puts a lot of strain on your arteries and other blood vessels, and so those arteries can become damaged. And once they become damaged, then you have what we refer to as plaque buildup in those arteries that can then cause the arteries to get blocked off and cause other problems. It can also place a strain on the kidneys as well. So these are some of the things that can happen with, as it pertains to high salt content in the diet. But one of the things that we don't consider sometimes is also the fact that consuming too much salt can also lead to osteoporosis, which is a decrease in bone density. Because what happens is that salt content causes calcium to be excreted from the bones, and that decreases your bone density. So while we have high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and kidney disease as the non-communicable diseases that we hear about often related to salt intake, osteoporosis is also one that we can consider. Now, when it comes to salt, usually when people hear about salt, they think about table salt. You know, your salt you add to your food and so forth. But there are a lot of hidden sources of salt in our foods as well. So when we mentioned earlier the breads and the baked goods that we have, usually salt is added to those things to help with the flavor, of course, but also to help with the rising process. So that's one area where you can have salt. A lot of our cheeses, sauces, and condiments, these two have salt in them. And for most of these products, salt is used as a preservative, and especially in like our canned products and so forth. So you find that if you're not careful enough to take up your canned goods and read the label, which is one of the things that we encourage persons to do, so that you're able to see what the salt content is, you could be consuming these foods, not necessarily using a lot of table salt, but then you develop hypertension and you wonder, well, where is this coming from? I don't use a lot of salt, but it's from the other processed foods that you're consuming. So that's one of the things that we would say. Whenever you are purchasing foods, read your label. That's a very, very important thing. Look at the salt content. As a matter of fact, look at everything. Salt content, sugar content. It's very important so that you're able to determine exactly what you're consuming and how you can manage your diet a lot better.
Awesome. And you said, can you share briefly some tips as well?
Sure. For example, Dr. Cartier already alluded to quite a few. Buy fresh or frozen foods instead of packaged. If you are going to be purchasing packaged foods, you want to be looking for food items that have no salt added, low salt, or you might see sodium. Another important point that individuals have to look for, and this is not just knowing it or doing it because you're in the supermarket, you have to look at your labels. You look at your sodium content. The body only requires about 1 teaspoon of salt per day. And when you think about a teaspoon, I mean, and I'm not speaking about a heaped teaspoon, just a teaspoon nicely flattened off, layered off. That's the amount of salt, sodium, the body requires per day. And we tend not to only get salt from the packaged foods, but in the Caribbean, in our culture, we get a lot from how we prepare our foods also. The seasonings we use. We tend to use a lot of artificial seasoning. The seasoning salts, the Maggi cubes. The cubes. We tend to use a lot of those, and even quite a few of them are salt bombs. Salt is known as one of those first things that is on the top of the list for a lot of individuals for flavor, when really and truly it shouldn't. So you should really try to get more flavor out of local seasoning other than the ones you purchase off of the shelves. So you want to look, these are some of the things that you can do. Purchase frozen or fresh foods instead of canned. And if you're going to do canned, try to wash them off. You would not get all the salt out of them. And some persons do say, Mrs. Duncan, but what about the canned fish and so forth? Do I wash them also? If you can, yes, you do. Some might become shredded, so you might not be able to wash them as effectively as something that is solid. But those that come canned, you don't use the liquid that they are preserved in. You wash the food item before you used it. Use local fresh foods and try to stick to looking at your labels to see how many salt is inside of there. And as we get to that, I forgot one activity I was to mention earlier.
Okay.
We are going to also, for Salt Awareness Week, with assistance from the metabolic disease, the prevention and control chronic metabolic disease volunteer, we are actually going to be sharing with the public what we are calling a salt diary. Now, this is basically a document that persons will be able to download and print on their own, and you have some food items, and it helps you to look at those foods that have high salt amounts, so you can help to eliminate some of those. So we are going to have that available for the public to help them to keep track of the amount of salt that they consume on a daily basis.
Awesome. Statistics. Do you have any information on just about how many people in St. Kitts and Nevis suffer from hypertension because of the high salt intake? Can you share that with the general public?
Okay, so yes, we do. So just last week, as a matter of fact, we had our national NCD program. And so our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Laws, was able to share our most recent statistics. And coming out of that analysis, at the end of 2020, we found that there was 31.7% of our men and 68.3% of our women made up the total number of cases with hypertension in the public care system. Now, I need for us to understand that these are only persons that access public health. So if we consider those individuals who go to their private doctors that we don't necessarily have a registry of, we could see that these percentages could actually be a lot higher.
Right.
In terms of the average incidence, and that means the number of new cases that we have of hypertension, between 2016 and 2020, we had approximately 88 new cases of hypertension being seen in our public health system. In 2022, we had 40 new diagnosed cases of hypertension. And then just in 2023, as of 2023, so the year just started, we're in February, we have 35 patients that are currently on hemodialysis. We actually had 3 newly diagnosed patients already for the year. And of those 35 patients, 22 of them actually have hypertension as a comorbidity. Some of them also have diabetes as comorbidity, or some of them have both diabetes and hypertension along with their kidney disease. So we could see that as it pertains to these conditions that are salt-related, we realize that we have a lot of work to do in terms of helping our people to understand the risk of having so much salt in their diet and why it's necessary for them to reduce it.
And would you say that this is alarming?
Yes.
Wow. So I note that you said 68% for women and 31% for men. Is it that women are more prone to hypertension, or can you explain the difference in the numbers?
I would better put it that women are more, women access public health care more often than men, which is why we pick up more women than men. That I think that may be the the best.
That's a reasonable explanation. Yeah, because most men, they don't.
Exactly.
And globally.
And that is one of the things that we are working towards. Men's health is very important. And so we need to try and make sure we encourage more of our men to access our public health system so that we are able to not just pick up when they're ill, or have these chronic diseases, but help with that preventative measures as well.
And globally too, most men tend to die from hypertension undiagnosed. That's why it is known as the silent killer.
Silent killer, that's right.
So we have to be extremely careful, because a lot of these NCDs conditions, you feel no pain. Some persons could have kidney disease, hypertension, diabetes for a few years before actually becoming diagnosed. For some individuals, it might be too late. Some individuals, it still would be a little bit too late, which means that it was not fatal for them, but then they get to access care, management of the condition. So we have to be extremely careful of these conditions. Majority of them related to our nutrition, how we actually eat, the foods we consume, our level of physical activity, and other lifestyle changes that we can make, like smoking cigarettes, consuming alcohol, for example. So, we just need to look at some of these things and counter which one we consider more important, our health, living these lifestyles.
And the thing is that with simple lifestyle changes, these conditions can be reduced. Something as simple as drinking more water, especially for persons who consume a lot of salt, that is something that can also help in that respect.
Your chances of survival. So you've come down with hypertension. I think you could get to the point where it is too late, even if you try all of the methods or take into consideration the recommendations given by your doctor. What are your chances of survival if you come down with hypertension?
Well, most individuals that do, once diagnosed early, most individuals that do have a greater chance of survival. We do have quite a bit of mainstream medication available in St. Kitts and Nevis to manage and treat hypertension and other conditions. With some persons can also be managed with medication and other lifestyle changes, such as increased physical activity, a more appropriate diet change. And some individuals, because I know of a few clients who are actually being managed without medication, so with increased physical activity, and they're paying more attention to their diet, they can be properly managed. So the key there for a lot of individuals is to be screened. Know your numbers. Whether or not you suffer from hypertension, or you know an individual close to you who suffer from hypertension, when you get that opportunity, you go, you get tested, you see what your blood pressure number is like, you see what your glucose numbers are like, and you pay attention to those numbers. So the next time you go and you do get a measurement done, you do a blood pressure reading, a glucose reading, you can say, well, I did it a few months back and it was this. I did it last year and it was this. That is the best way to know. You have to know your number in order to manage them. So early screening is key. And in the Ministry of Health, with assistance from ICDF, the Prevention and Control Chronic Metabolic Disease Program, they do quite a bit of screening in St. Kitts and Nevis since the year of 2021. Practically every day, every week, they have been screening individuals for free. You get your blood pressure reading, your blood glucose reading. They also do urinalysis, weight, height, and they do counseling sessions right on site. You get your results back right away. So if you ever do see the Ministry of Health or ICDF feather banner being flown anywhere in St. Kitts and Nevis, just know that that is a free screening and you should take advantage of it.
And you actually don't even have to wait till when you see them. You can call into the Ministry of Health and request a health screening for your organization, your school, whatever, your church. So if it is that you see that this is a program that you would want us to supply for your community in some way, then you can simply call into the Health Promotion Unit and we'll put you in touch with the individuals who are responsible for the health screening program, and they can bring the screening right to you.
Awesome. Guys, it is 11:30, so let's take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's take this break and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building our strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed.
Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it.
Yep, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out. Friends is for you and me. Giving back to community. Friends is for you and me. Better for your family. Better service, better price, better value, better choice. Rewarding you for loyalty. Friends is for you and me. Better price and quality.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. For those of you who are just joining the program, we have in studios with us today Dr. Marissa Carty, Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, and Latoya Matthew Duncan, Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator. Today we are talking about National Salt Awareness Week, which runs from the 4th to 11th March 2023, as well as World Kidney Day, which will be celebrated on March 9th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining the discussion for today. I want to talk about kidneys. What are some of the functions of the kidneys?
Well, the kidneys act like the filtration system for the body. That's an easy way of putting it. It controls chemicals in the body, the removal of chemicals. It helps to control blood pressure also. That's why it is so important for persons to manage their blood pressure once they become diagnosed with kidney disease, and which makes it even a lot more difficult if you were already diagnosed. It also helps to keep the bones healthy, because it do assist with the metabolic processes for calcium, and it helps, of course, to make red blood cells. So the kidney has a very vital job in the body. It's true some persons will say, well, we can live with only one, but I'm thinking that's why we have two, because of the vital role the kidneys play within the body.
All right. And what are some of the, let me say, bad habits that can destroy or damage your kidneys?
The first one I would like to start with is persons not drinking enough water. It's a filtration system. So when you think about the filtering of anything, and you even think about at home, if it is too thick, what do? We add water. So that is one of the biggest habits that persons tend to take for granted, even not only for the health of their kidneys, but for the health of the other organs within the body. Water also is the vessel by which so many other nutrients flow through the body, how so many metabolic processes depend on water to function. So right then and there, every time I think about the health of the kidneys, I always encourage persons drink water, drink copious amount of water. Don't be afraid of drinking too much water. Some of the mostly of them risk factors for kidneys that can cause damage to the kidneys. Persons who have diabetes, having a family member with kidney disease, if you are over the age of 60, because of course once we age, our organs also age. So which means the functioning of the organs within our body, the kidneys and the other organs, their functioning tends to slow down a little. And also just who we are, being African, Hispanic, Native American, Asian, those groups are also at risk for kidney disease. And like we said, the best thing for you to do is to actually get screened. And you can actually, some simple, getting screened for kidney disease can be some simple tests as a blood test or a urine test can assist with letting you know how well your kidneys are functioning.
Can you tell us about the statistics as it relates to people who have kidney disease in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Right. So, as I mentioned, I did mention it before, but I'll say it again. That's no problem. So far we have in 2023, 35 patients on hemodialysis. So this is this is actually the procedure to help persons who have kidney disease to be able to clean the blood. Because as Latoya mentioned, the kidney is a filtration system, but if it's damaged, then it cannot do its work effectively. So that's why hemodialysis is used. And so far, we've had 3 new persons being diagnosed with kidney disease for the year already. So we recognize that it is an issue in country, and we have to try as much as possible to get the information out there to help persons to be able to not just be educated, but also practice those same tips that we mentioned so that they do not reach to this point. You can have hypertension without going towards kidney disease. You can have diabetes without going towards kidney disease. It's when these conditions are unmanaged, not controlled well, or if they are diagnosed too late, then you'll find persons progressing towards kidney disease very easily. And so the importance I think we would want to bring out here is screening. Early detection saves lives. I mean, it's a mantra that we use all the time, but it makes a lot of sense. If you're detected early, then the interventions that are needed for you to be able to not lead on to these chronic kidney conditions can be done for you. And you would be able to live a better quality life.
For those persons who've been diagnosed, can you share the age range, the age group?
I don't have that with me right now, unfortunately.
But how is it generally? People who are diagnosed.
For renal disease, we have persons. Based on the statistics that I saw, they ranged from, teenagers all the way up to persons above 60. So it's a wide range of individuals.
Wow. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the general public as it relates to the Salt Awareness Week as well as World Kidney Day?
Well, we can speak a little bit more about the activities we have planned. However, I think it's important for the public to also know the signs and symptoms of kidney disease. For kidney disease, some of the major signs and symptoms is nausea, feeling vomity, feeling sick to your stomach, constantly wanting to vomit, swelling of feet, and also the face. Some persons would say, well, your face look puffy. And that is, these are some of the major signs. Also feeling tired, dizzy, fatigue, even though you know that you have not exerted much energy, your body just feel tired to the eye. You cannot really move to function how you usually would perform. Bloody, foamy, or dark urine. So when you pee, for example, you might see a lot more, let's say, bubbles or froth on the top of the urine than usual.
Wow.
Also with urination, it can go both ways. You can start urinating more often than you usually do, or you can have a decrease in how often, you would go to the bathroom to urinate. So these are some of the changes that you want to look for in kidney disease. And we do have, as the general public is aware, that we do have hemodialysis in St. Kitts, which is a major treatment for kidney disease. So what that basically does is it filters the blood for the kidneys because once you get to that stage, the kidneys no longer are functioning at a capacity where they can filter the blood anymore. So the machine basically do that for the individuals. So persons be alert, be vigilant. We don't want to wait until it is too late for you to start looking at preventing kidney disease, any of the NCDs, for a matter of fact. We do have high numbers here in St. Kitts and Nevis and globally. And like I said, a lot of persons tend to take it for granted because you feel no pain. Your mom has diabetes, your mom has hypertension, or your father have diabetes, and your father have hypertension, or your grandparents are somebody close to you, and it looks easy to manage. But the thing is, once your blood glucose levels are high, once your blood pressure levels are high, it actually does a bit of damage to the kidneys, to all of the organs in the body, all of the organs. It might be minute, but it happens.
And symptoms for hypertension? Is it pretty much the same, or?
To be honest, for a lot of persons, you don't really have symptoms for hypertension, which is one of the reasons why it's referred to as the silent killer. So persons could be functioning quite well, and it's only when they go to a health screening or they may go to the doctor for some other reason, and when their blood pressure is taken, then they realize that they have hypertension. And the thing about it is that that reading has to be done for at least three times before you can be diagnosed as hypertensive. So if you go to the doctor one day, they tell you your blood pressure is high. Unless you get that screening again 2 other times, then you're not going to be diagnosed specifically as hypertensive. You understand? So that's why a lot of individuals, even though they may have had a high reading at a screening or even at a doctor's office, they would not consider it anything, or they might make changes for a little while, see if it goes down, and then continue their life. But sometimes more intervention is going to be needed for that individual.
Awesome. All right. As we begin to wrap up, can you share more about the activities planned to commemorate National Salt Awareness Week and World Kidney Day?
Thank you. So Salt Awareness Week is scheduled from March 4th to the 11th, and World Kidney Day is March 9th. March 1st to 9th, we are going to be having more awareness activities in the media, speaking about kidney disease, as well as the upcoming activities for Salt Awareness Day. On the 6th to the 7th, we are actually going to be engaging with clients at the hemodialysis unit, where we'll be doing live education sessions throughout the various shifts. We'll be doing self-management, teaching the clients about self-management of their conditions, which would include nutrition, knowing their lab numbers, a bit of pathophysiology, as well as physical activities, because quite a bit of these clients, persons aren't aware that regardless of what illness you have, there is always a physical, some type of physical activity that is suitable for you and that you can benefit from to manage your condition. So we will definitely be including that. Additionally, we also, on the 8th, we will be having a Get Active there. The tentative venue is at the Newtown Playfield, and our host will be Mr. Elston Nisbet, and we'll be having a live physical activity session from 4:30. And the general public is invited to join us for that session. And on March 9th, we are encouraging persons to eat the rainbow. When we say eat a rainbow, we are actually encouraging persons for, at least for your main meal for that particular day, to have a salad with a variety of color. So mix it up, have your red, your green, your yellow, whatever colors you have. But on that particular day, eat the rainbow, have a salad.
Awesome. And can you share with me the numbers to call for people who are interested in getting screened? Is there a hotline or anything?
Okay, so you can call the Ministry of Health at 467-1233 or 467-1237. Any of those numbers will get you to the health promotion unit, and then we will give you further information from there. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much. We finished the interview early. If you have anything else that you want to share, you can do so now, and we will wrap it up. Anything else?
Okay, well, what I'm going to share is actually with kidney disease, especially. Most persons are a bit familiar with the management of hypertension and reducing your salt in order to keep your numbers down, consuming high potassium meals such as bananas to keep your numbers down. However, in kidney disease, it's actually sort of the reversal, especially for potassium. In kidney disease, you want to limit your potassium food. So there are some dietary restrictions for persons living with kidney disease, especially those who would be at probably stage 3, 4 and 5, those who are already on hemodialysis. So there are quite a few food items that persons are supposed to be restricted from. For example, in staples, usually when we think about eating certain staples, bread, for example, or crackers, we tend to think about whole wheat. Those that look brown, we consider those healthier. However, in kidney disease, because of the potassium content, most of them are restricted. So persons with kidney disease, they cannot consume, or they are not supposed to consume whole wheat products, either cereals or pancakes or any of those products. There are also some vegetables that they're also restricted, such as celery, canned vegetables, callaloo, and quite a few of packaged foods is restricted because of the additives such as additional sodium and nitrates that can worsen the condition. And there's also a list of fruits. So it's actually a very specific list. And so if there are individuals out there who actually want to get first-hand knowledge of the foods that they should be restricting for kidney disease, they can contact us and we'll not only provide them with the list, but we'll also go through it with them so that they understand what the restrictions are and why it is important for them to have these restrictions if they are currently suffering from kidney disease.
Mm-hmm. And out of the health promotion unit, we also have a program called the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. So this is a program for persons who either have a chronic disease or at risk for chronic diseases, or even persons who are caregivers of persons with chronic diseases. So what it is, it's a 6-week program. It's 2.5 hours per week, where individuals will come together as a group, and we have facilitators who will be sharing with them some tools of how they can manage their condition. We're talking about things like how to read food labels, how to exercise, things that, for example, how to communicate with your healthcare provider. These are some of the things, even problem solving and decision making as it pertains to your chronic condition. These are some of the tools that our facilitators will be sharing with the persons in the CDSMP or Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. How you enter this program, you can be referred to the program from within the health center, or again, if you want to provide that program for an organization or a church, can simply call the health promotion unit and we'll be able to put you in touch with the individual who is responsible for that program.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much. For those of you who are just joining the program, you were just listening to the first hour of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. We had Dr. Marissa Carty, the Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, and Latoya Matthew Duncan, Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator, speaking on National Salt Awareness Week, which runs from March 4th to 11th, as well as World Kidney Day, which will be celebrated on March 9th. There are a week of activities, and they are using the opportunity to encourage you, the general public, to participate, all in the effort of reducing the salt intake, prevention of hypertension, and caring for your kidney. Thank you guys so much, and take care.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. It is 11:51 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. Let us give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will close out the first hour of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. We break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation for today. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Fruta. Fruit are full of vitamin thing. Real fruit juice, no full of vitamin. Pop open the goodness, just dive in. Fruit every night, fruit every morning.
It's the amazing taste and quality in fruit juice you've come to know and love. Anytime, anywhere, any occasion. Fruta is your tastier, better, healthier choice.
We got the vibes, Fruta. Real nice, Fruta.
And for the families, remember to pick up the 1 liter.
Hello?
Good, Jean?
What's up, girl? Talk to me.
You know I'm working hard on being even more active, right? So we're going to the TDC Home and Building Depot to get a blender, weights, a yoga mat, and a bike for Clive too.
You serious? Something keep in there?
Yes, girl, all month long. Shop in store, get 20% in savings on health and wellness products like blenders, juicers, air fryers, waist trainers, and more.
Girl, Betty, you're joking.
I don't have time for jokes. Get yourself sorted because in February we're staying active with TDC HBD.
Yes, girl.
Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
What has you so happy? My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around. Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
This is Voices for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius. Those of you who are just tuning in, earlier we had Dr. Marissa Carty, the Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, as well as Latoya Matthew Duncan, Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator, speaking on National Salt Awareness Week, which runs from March 4th to 11th, 2023, as well as World Kidney Day, March 9th, 2023. Dr. Carty and Mrs. Matthew Duncan used the opportunity to encourage the general public to participate in some of the activities that they have planned to commemorate these activities, National Salt Awareness Week and World Kidney Day. They also used the opportunity to let the general public know or share some of the tips for protecting your kidneys and preventing hypertension. As the doctor said, early detection saves lives. Early detection saves lives. You also have the opportunity to get screened, and so for those of you who are interested in getting screened for hypertension, you can call 467-1233 or 467-1237. The numbers again to call for screening are 467-1233 or 467-1237. We will break shortly for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I've been your host for the first hour, Devon Cornelius. Take care.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission, and NHC.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less. Worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
The Taiwan Technical Mission, in collaboration with the Department of Environment, continues to seek the partnership of the public in this recycling initiative. Collect and bring your plastic bottles, metal and aluminum cans at any of our collection points in St. Kitts and Nevis. In St. Kitts, visit us at Buckley's across the road from Best Buy supermarket, in Deer Bay on the lawn westward of the football playing field, and in the vicinity of Connery Roundabout. In Nevis, the collection points are Old Artisan Village, Big Six, Delta Petroleum, and Ex-Petrol. Do visit our Facebook and Instagram pages called Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis and Department of Environment, St. Kitts, for more information on the collection schedule for these recycling points. In St. Kitts, you can call the Department of Environment at 466-8535, and for Nevis, call Nevis Solid Waste Management at 869-469-1762. Let's recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis as we work towards establishing a more friendly place.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With the WIN headline news, I am Kevon Brown.
I am Devon Cornelius.
And I am Yulana Weeks.
Making the headlines, Flow donates 6 HP Chromebooks to Irishtown Primary School. Social Security reform, the major topic at statutory bodies stakeholder forum. Trinidad police are investigating violent arrest by plainclothes officers. Jamaica's economy grew by 3.4% in the last quarter of 2022. Internationally, the U.S. government ordered rail operator Norfolk Southern to clean up contaminated soil and water at the site of a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and to attend all public meetings with local residents. Meanwhile, 3 children have been found alive after devastating floods killed nearly 50 people in the southern Brazilian state of Sao Paulo. Now, the details. The Irishtown Primary School has been closed since the deadly shooting of the school's security guard, Dahlia Hanley, on February 14th. The students and staff have been on compassionate leave until Friday, February 24th. As a result, students have had to return to remote learning. Flow gifted the school 6 HP Chromebooks to provide students with the equipment needed for those who may be without means of participating in remote learning.
We at Flow sympathize with the staff and students of the Irishtown Primary School on the recent loss of one of your colleagues. We understand the students are currently engaged in remote learning and some are not equipped with the necessary tools during this learning process. Flow cares about our youths and the nation on a whole, as you're the ones that make up our customer base. On behalf of the Board of Directors, management and staff at Flow, we are presenting you with these Chromebooks, knowing that they will aid with the students' education.
Charisma Patrick, Marketing and Communications Executive, on behalf of Flow. The principal of the Irishtown Primary School, Avenel Kerry Freights, expressed gratitude on behalf of the school and the students who will benefit from the laptops.
On behalf of the Irishtown Primary School Team Phoenix family, we do say thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you for your care, we thank you for your help at this time, as we definitely appreciate this donation. Thank you very much to Flow.
The handing over was held at Flow's conference room at their main office at Needmust Estate on February 22nd. The longevity of the Social Security Fund in St. Kitts and Nevis has been questioned over the past decade. The fund is now in its 45th year of operation, and reforms are needed to ensure another 45 years. According to the actuary Derek Osborne from LifeWorks, a fund that has amassed $1.7 billion in reserves may be depleted by the late 2030s, early 2040s without stringent reforms.
On the current trajectory, as is designed today, with a contribution rate of 11%,
and the benefit rules that we have in place today, that the fund is certainly not sustainable.
Osborne reported no crisis for the fund, but if there is no action now, the fund could be in crisis in about 20 years.
There's no crisis today. The fund is still relatively strong. You have the second largest fund in the OECS. And I'll mention, Mr. Prime Minister, back in 77, 78, when the fund was first started, two great decisions were made here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Those schemes who had NPF before, most of them reduced their contribution rate and left the age the same. Here in the Federation, you increase the age from 60 to 62, and the rate was kept at 10%. And that is why the fund is so large compared to St. Vincent and Grenada and Dominica and others.
Investment income filled some of the gaps, but in 2022, for the first time, total income was less than total expenditure. And now Social Security is at a point where it is dipping into its reserves to meet the demand on the fund. However, investment also needs some diversification.
So what we have is that we have a very heavy concentration of investments in one currency, in one small island or federation, 50,000 people, right? And a lot of it in one single bank. And a lot of it in one type of instrument, short-term deposits, which is not appropriate for long-term pension funds. And that's why we have that fall in interest rates the last few years.
As reported by the actuary, the statutory body is spending 16% of wages but only collecting 11% when looking back at 2022. As it stands, the reserve will continue to shrink as the expenditure increases.
And the three key words that we look at when we talk about the future. We need to have adequate benefits to ensure that people can live. We need to have affordable contributions to ensure that employers and workers can afford what it takes to provide those benefits. But at the same time, we need to have a system that's sustainable. But if you think about those three things, affordable benefits are going to come with a price. So the more you want as a benefit, the more it's going to cost as a contribution. Of course, employers don't want high contributions. Workers don't want high contributions. So we have to balance the two. And we also have to think about the future and sustainability. What we're trying to avoid in the whole program going forward is, of course, the fund never being exhausted. That's number one. The second thing is not having to charge our children and grandchildren double or triple what you're now paying for and them getting less. And as you'll see later on in Barbados today, the rate is 18.25%, what you're now paying 11% for. And they may even go up in Barbados, given the state of their fund. And the third point I mentioned earlier, self-employed people. We really should be concerned about more and more self-employed people not having an income in old age.
Some of the recommendations for reforms: changing the pensionable age from 62 to 65 or 67, change from aged pension to retirement pension, increasing contribution from 11%, with the actuary referencing other Caribbean islands who have contributions between 15 to 18%. The statutory body has to diversify the way it invests its reserves. It needs set guidelines to ensure reforms and recommendations are acted upon to make sure the fund adapts to changes in society, changing how self-employed contributors pay their contributions, updating the design of the fund to reflect what is needed for the time, advancements in technology to make operations more accessible, and implementing ways to reprimand employers who are not compliant, among others.
Right now, we're working on 4 policies within the organization to set those guidelines, set those targets, and set those priorities and responses. Right? So there's a benefits policy I mentioned. It's been 45 years. Let's review all the benefits. Make sure they're all relevant today. The funding policy. Do we want the fund to be at least sustainable for 30 years, 40 years? The reserves never fall below 3 or 4 times expenditure. What is our target? Where do we really want to see ourselves 20, 30 years from now? There's a risk policy, right? We talk about risk all the time. And what do we do when things happen? You know, COVID happens, hurricanes happen. People try and steal from the system. We need to find ways to react and respond to things that could go wrong. And then investment policy I mentioned a while ago, a lot of the eggs in one basket. And we need to find a way to gradually move those monies out of those short-term deposits into longer-term instruments, with some hopefully outside of the Federation.
Prime Minister Drew said the government is willing to do what is necessary to secure the longevity of the Social Security Fund.
I think for a number of years there have been mention of, and persons would have spoken to the fact that the reforms might be tough, and some have kicked the can down the road, and I'm seeing the can in front of me now. And the question the stakeholders are asking, what is Dr. Drew and the government going to do with the can? But I want to say from the onset that we have said what we will do, that we will make the necessary reforms so that Social Security can remain strong, viable, and a term they use, solvent. And that is why I said it needs political will. But political will cannot do it. It needs your buy-in and understanding. And hopefully, when the actuarian would have presented to you, he would have convinced you as to why the reforms are necessary. And then I alone, or the government alone, or with Social Security Board, would not have to be the ones out there saying that reform is necessary and needed. But when you go back to your respective organizations, you would bring the message that we definitely need reform.
The review of the St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board's 13th Actuarial Review and Stakeholders Breakfast Forum was held on February 21st at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. In regional news, Trinidad police are investigating violent arrest by plainclothes officers. Jamaica's economy grew by 3.4% in the last quarter of 2022. Carib Update has those stories and more.
Trinidad and Tobago Commissioner of Police, Erla Haywood Christopher, has ordered an investigation into an incident depicting a violent arrest of a Princestown man by two plainclothes officers on Carnival Monday. In a media release, Haywood Christopher said Assistant Commissioner of Police of the South Central Division, Lucia Winchester, is leading the investigation after a video of the incident went viral on social media. In the video, a young man of slim build was pulled by his hair and thrown to the ground and repeatedly kicked by two officers. He was punched in the face while one officer knelt on him and the other attempted to put on handcuffs. The man on the ground shouted for help as an officer placed his knees on his neck. Cuba on Tuesday suffered its third major blackout in little more than a week, leaving a vast swath of the center and east of the island without power, energy officials said on state-run TV. Cuba's midday television news broadcast said it was investigating the causes of the electrical failure and that the country's state-run electrical company had begun work to restore power. The blackout Tuesday spanned 430 miles from Cienfuegos province in south-central Cuba to Guantanamo on the far southeastern tip, leaving more than half of the country's population of 11 million without power. Scattered blackouts were also reported in the capital, Havana. Activists demanded Tuesday that Jamaica repeal a colonial-era law criminalizing gay sex, noting that the government still has not heeded a regional rights panel's recommendation 2 years ago to do so. The call comes as a growing number of islands in the conservative Caribbean region strike down similar but rarely invoked laws that often seek life sentences and hard labor. Jamaica has resisted such a repeal. Devon Matthews with Rainbow Railroad, a Canadian group that helps members of the LGBTQ community escape violence, said the Jamaica situation has gotten significantly worse in the last number of years. Rainbow Railroad released a report Tuesday along with Human Dignity Trust, a UK non-profit legal organization that found the LGBTQ community in Jamaica faces what was described as horrific violence, discrimination, and persecution. Jamaica's government has argued that it doesn't enforce its 1864 anti-sodomy laws. Jamaica's economy grew by 3.4% for the October to December quarter in comparison to the similar period of 2021. The goods producing industry recorded the majority of the improvements with 4.3% compared with services industry at 3%. Dr. Wayne Henry, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, says the economy is recovering faster than projected with some industries already surpassing pre-COVID-19 levels of output. Dr. Henry said the recovery of the employed labor force is expected to be confirmed in fiscal year 2023-2024. Don Tapia, who served as the Donald Trump White House U.S. ambassador to Jamaica from 2019 to 2021, said he will support Ron DeSantis over the ex-president should the GOP Florida governor run for president in 2024. Trump's name-calling has turned a lot of people off, the retired electrical company executive told Politico in an article published Tuesday. Tapia reportedly made six-figure contributions to Trump's campaigns in both 2016 and 2020, when Trump would repeatedly call his rivals insulting names. DeSantis has yet to officially announce a 2024 run, but an upcoming three-day Florida retreat for him will be overwhelmingly attended by former Trump backers, said Tapia, who joins a growing list of Republican donors who have distanced themselves from Trump in recent months.
We now bring you these international reports.
Just 2 weeks ago, tragedy struck this small town, this small, close-knit community.
The Environmental Protection Agency on Tuesday ordered rail operator Norfolk Southern to clean up contaminated soil and water at the site of a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, that was loaded with toxic chemicals. The order also requires Norfolk Southern to attend all public meetings with local residents and to submit a work plan for EPA approval for the cleanup. EPA Administrator Michael Regan.
But let me also be crystal clear. Norfolk Southern will pay for cleaning up the mess that they created and the trauma that they inflicted on this community and impacted Beaver County residents.
The U.S. top federal environmental official on Tuesday visited the homes of locals impacted by the February 3rd Norfolk Southern derailment and held a roundtable with community members. Eastern Ohio Congressman Bill Johnson.
The company knows this accountability is coming. They know that it's there. I haven't sensed any pushback. They know the kinds of things that they're going to have to do for the long-term remediation, the removal of the tracks, the removal of the soil, getting that contaminated soil out of there. They know that this has to be done.
The wreck caused a fire that sent clouds of smoke over the town, forcing thousands of residents to evacuate, while railroad crews drained and burned off chemicals. Norfolk Southern said in an emailed statement that it recognizes its responsibility to thoroughly and safely clean up the derailment site and pay for it, adding, quote, "We are going to learn from this terrible accident and work with regulators and elected officials to improve railroad safety." Although no fatalities or injuries have been reported, residents have been demanding answers about health risks and blaming Norfolk Southern, state and federal officials for a lack of information regarding the crash. President Joe Biden tweeted Tuesday the EPA's order to Norfolk Southern was common sense and that this is their mess, they should clean it up. Norfolk Southern shares were down Tuesday afternoon and have slid double digits since February 3rd.
Another day digging through the mud and debris. Another body found. The death toll has been rising since Sunday, when unusually heavy rainfall hit several coastal towns just 200 kilometers away from Brazil's largest city, São Paulo. Nearly 50 people so far confirmed killed by the floods and landslides, many of them in the beach resort of Barra do Saí during the carnival celebrations. Edenilson Gomes has spent 2 days looking for his son and daughter-in-law with little hope of finding them alive.
Most of my son's next-door neighbors did not survive. Their bodies were dragged down the hill.
Neighbors have been working alongside firemen and the army, Rodrigo de Paula, a volunteer fireman for the past 14 years, has witnessed other major tragedies.
This terrain is harder to get to. We're expecting more rain in the coming days, which means that we'll have to start from scratch, digging in the same spot again. But if the sun comes out, it won't get much better. Dry mud is more difficult to clear away.
Rescue teams have been concentrating their efforts because there were many families living here. Earlier this morning, dogs were sniffing the mud, indicating that they would find more bodies under the mud and rubble. Natalia Siqueira has been helping to identify the bodies of her neighbors. She says these ruins were once the home of a family of 4. All were killed, including 8-year-old Maria, who had just celebrated her birthday and had been saving coins in the tiny red safety box to buy herself a treat.
I cannot find the words to describe the pain we're all feeling.
Barra do Saí has been isolated since the floods. Landslides blocked all roads, making it impossible to leave by land. Their only way out is by sea. Nearby towns have sent tourist and fishing boats to help many flee, but also to take much-needed supplies to the thousands who have lost all and have stayed behind to search for the dozens still missing. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Barra do Saí, Brazil.
A man once in charge of Mexico's war on drugs was convicted by a U.S. jury of trafficking drugs himself on Tuesday. Genario Garcia Luna's U.S. charges include taking millions of dollars in bribes from the infamous Sinaloa cartel. He'll serve a minimum of 20 years in prison and could face a lifetime sentence. Garcia Luna is one of the highest-ranking Mexican officials ever accused of ties to drug trafficking, and had worked closely with U.S. counter-narcotics and intelligence agencies. He led Mexico's Federal Investigation Agency for 4 years and was Public Security Minister for 6 years until 2012. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn say Garcia Luna accepted bribes from the cartel once run by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in exchange for protection from arrest, safe passage for cocaine shipments, and tip-offs about future police operations. He was arrested in Texas in 2019 after moving to the United States and had pled not guilty. However, on Tuesday, a jury found him guilty on all 5 counts he faced. Cesar de Castro, a defense lawyer, told reporters Garcia Luna will, quote, continue to do everything he can to clear his good name, while Breon Peace, the top federal prosecutor in Brooklyn, said after the verdict that, quote, Garcia Luna, who once stood at the pinnacle of law enforcement in Mexico, will now live the rest of his days having been revealed as a traitor to his country. He is set to be sentenced in June.
At least 2 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli raid in the occupied West Bank city of Nablus. More than 36 have been injured. Let's bring in Nida Ibrahim. She's joining us from Ramallah, also in the occupied West Bank. Nida, tell us what you've been hearing.
We've been hearing that the number of those who were injured is not only 36, which is a high number, but that the majority of them were hit by live ammunition. This is a very high number when it comes to the confrontations that take place between the Israeli forces and the Palestinians. Now, we know that Nablus is an epicenter, Nablus and Jenin, for armed Palestinian men, and we've seen similar confrontations go on and exchanges of fire between Palestinian fighters and Israeli forces. But it is unusual for those raids, Israeli raids, to take place in such a time in the morning. It is 10 a.m. when the Israeli forces raided local time. It was a busy market, and we heard that 2 Palestinian fighters were surrounded inside a house at the outskirts of the old city. They're members of a group that calls itself the Lions Den. It's a group of armed Palestinian men who say that Israel only understands the language of force. They've taken up arms. They've had assumed responsibility for several attacks against Israeli soldiers and Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank. So we're looking at an escalation. We're looking at 52 Palestinians who were killed since the beginning of the year by Israeli forces, and we're still in the second month of the year.
You were listening to the WINNFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: Flow donates 6 HP Chromebooks to Irishtown Primary School. Social Security reform, the major topic at statutory body's stakeholder forum. Trinidad police are investigating violent arrest by plainclothes officers. Jamaica's economy grew by 3.4% in the last quarter of 2022. Internationally, the U.S. government ordered rail operator Norfolk Southern to clean up contaminated soil and water at the site of a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and to attend all public meetings with local residents. Meanwhile, 3 children have been found alive after devastating floods killed nearly 50 people in the southern Brazilian state of São Paulo. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission, and NHC.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
The Taiwan Technical Mission, in collaboration with the Department of Environment, continues to seek the partnership of the public in this recycling initiative. Collect and bring your plastic bottles, metal and aluminum cans at any of our collection points in St. Kitts and Nevis. In St. Kitts, visit us at Buckley's across the road from Best Buy supermarket, in Dieppe Bay on the lawn westward of the football playing field, and in the vicinity of Connery Roundabout. In Nevis, the collection points are Old Artisan Village, Big Six, Delta Petroleum, and X-Petrol. Do visit our Facebook and Instagram pages called Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis and Department of Environment, St. Kitts, for more information on the collection schedule for these recycling points. In St. Kitts, you can call the Department of Environment at 466-8535, and for Nevis, call Nevis Solid Waste Management at 869-469-1762. Let's recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis as we work towards establishing a more friendly place.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured. Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less. Worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. And guess what? Pay your loan online during the month of February for a chance to win a special prize. So, what are you waiting for? Pay your loan online.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Hospital and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. It is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. This is Voices. Thank you so much for your contribution and thank you so much for your input to this program. The phone lines are now open and so we'll be taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. All right, welcome back to the program. This is Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open. You can call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Of course, an opportunity for you to share your views and opinions on matters of national interest here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The program is also live on our social media platforms. You can check us out on our Facebook page as well as our Twitter account and our YouTube channel. Of course, you can visit www.winmediaskn.com for the latest in local, regional, and international news. I want to open the discussion with something that came to my attention, or rather the public's attention, on yesterday Tuesday. So social media is where most of the information is now shared. When you get what's going on, and so I came across 3 audio/video clips yesterday, with past and present ministers of health in the Nevis Island administration speaking on the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. And essentially they were giving an update on works happening there at the project, and based off of information that they said they received from the Ministry of Finance, they were breaking down the numbers. They were saying, this is the monies that were allocated for this project, and this is how much we have spent thus far. So it was, as I said, past and present ministers of health. The clips were from the former Minister of Health, Hazel Brandy Williams, in the last CCM-led administration. She was the junior Minister of Health, and at that time, Premier Matt Brantley was the senior Minister of Health. And I think now the Honorable General Nisbet has full responsibility for health. So the clips, the audio-video clips are from Mr. Brantley, Minister Nisbet, and former Health Minister Hazel Brandy Williams speaking on the hospital expansion project. This is something that I would definitely be following up on, because there was a discrepancy in the information given, where in one of the clips it was quoted that $14 million had been dispersed out of the $19 million allocated for the hospital expansion project. And then in another clip, it was said that it was $8 million thus far, close to $8,300,000, about that. So about $8 million had been dispersed. The issue, or I think what is rather puzzling, is the fact that the current Minister of Health, the Honorable General Nisbet, based off of the information shared and received, noted that about $8 million has been dispersed or spent out of the $19 million budgeted for the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. However, the former health minister, Hazel Brandy Williams, during her time, noted that it was $14 million that had been dispersed. So that is a discrepancy, and perhaps there is an explanation. Maybe someone made a mistake with the numbers, but these numbers were quoted during sittings of the Nevis Island Assembly. And so perhaps it's a case where someone made a mistake with the numbers, but the former health minister during her time, I think the clip was from 2022 with Hazel Brandy Williams, where she noted that to date, since the project started in 2017, they've spent 14 million out of the 19 million. However, during the parliament yesterday, Tuesday, the current health minister said no, they've spent about $8 million. Perhaps there is something that is missing from the entire equation, or it was an honest mistake in terms of the numbers that were shared. But I thought that it was it was puzzling, and members of the public were asking questions or have questions as to, can an explanation be given? Now, I want to play these clips for you for the benefit of the general public. Have a listen. So the first clip is the former senior minister of health. I don't think Mr. Brantley holds the health portfolio in this new administration, but this is the premier, who was the senior minister of health at the time, speaking on the project. Have a listen. Wait, give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. Okay.
Like, no secret that right now there is a hospital project going on, but we've seen that it's incomplete. And not only that it's incomplete, it is, I think it's behind, and it's definitely over budget. So we would like to know, well, what are some of the issues?
Correct one aspect of your IRA. The hospital is not over budget.
It's not over budget.
It is behind, but it's not over budget. And I think our junior minister of health spoke to that eloquently in the last budget debates in the House in December. She broke it down. She explained what the budget was and how much has been spent thus far.
Okay,
so at this point, it is not over budget.
Remind us at this point. Do you remember those figures?
I believe that the number that she spoke to was somewhere in the region of 15 million or thereabouts, and I think she said that some 13 million has been spent thus far. But she did speak publicly on it in the budget debate.
So technically, yes. 15, 13 million, do we see it completing within budget? 2 million, you think?
Well, we will have to spend some extra money, yes. Okay. But at this point, I'm saying at this point, it is incorrect to say that the hospital is over budget, because we've not yet even exhausted the initial amount.
I take that back. I take that part back. But what are some of the issues where we see why it's behind then? Well, if we have already budgeted for it.
First of all, it seems to me that in the ongoing discussion that people forget that we had 2 years of COVID. Mm-hmm. And I know that it is not popular for people to talk about COVID because people see it as an excuse. But
all right, that was Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, speaking on the ongoing Alexandra Hospital expansion project. Now, this next clip is from the former health minister, Hazel Brandy Williams, giving a breakdown of the monies spent thus far for the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. When I say thus far, let me correct myself. This was during the budget debate in December of 2021.
Utilize this space, and so they have come back with a revised plan. Mr. President, my figures from the persons at finance as well as the project manager is showing us that the amount paid out to contractors and subcontractors so far amounted to $6.853 million. There is an additional amount of another $6.218 million remaining for the contractors and subcontractors. And this amount includes variation. Because remember I said earlier, I gave you what the initial plan was, and now we have come back with an six additions to the new building. And so indeed there will be variations. What I can say to you, Mr. President, and based on the figures that I've been given, we have now used $14.218 million out of the $19 million allocated for this project. It means then, Mr. President, that we are still under budget.
All right, that was former Health Minister Hazel Brandy Williams during a sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly in December of 2021. Now, this is the current Health Minister now. The clip that I'll play next is the current Health Minister speaking on funds allocated for the said project, the Alexandra Hospital Expansion Project.
Completing the interior is of the highest priority to our administration. That is why $12 million, Madam President, would have been allocated in this budget to ensure its timely completion. And Madam President, some would have you believe that we've blown through the initial $19 million estimate with no hospital to show for it. As Minister Evelyn indicated, Madam President, we like facts on this side. As the young people say, we have our receipts. So, Madam President, to date, we have spent $8,342,443.76 out of the initial $19 million budgeted. We would have only spent $8,342,443.76 out of the initial $19 million budgeted. So when you hear talks of over budget, I want the House to have the official figures on record, not those imagined or otherwise, Madam President.
All right, that was the current Minister of Health, the Honorable Janelle Nisbet, speaking on the Alexandra Hospital Expansion Project. And she gave a breakdown of the monies disbursed thus far. So according to the current Health Minister, $8 million has been spent out of the $19 million budgeted for the project. However, in December of 2021, the minister at the time said that it was about $14 million out of the $19 million. So there needs to be an explanation with regards to that. Is it $8 million? Is it $14 million? I can understand if you're off by a few cents, a few dollars, Sometimes you may not get the actual figure. That is why people would just quote, let's say it's $8, $9, $10 million. But there's a huge difference between $8 million and $14 million. Someone needs to come and give an explanation, because it's really puzzling. Perhaps maybe there is something that we are missing from this. Maybe there's something that we are missing. Maybe there's something that the general public is missing. But on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, that was yesterday, it was revealed that 8 million out of the 19 million has been disbursed. But in December, it was revealed that 14 million had been disbursed. Someone needs to come and give an explanation. We'll take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's take this break and we will be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Horseroads Building and Nevis Centers are making lawn and garden easy. Come to Horseroads Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off store-wide on our entire lawn and garden department. Yes! For the months of February and March, Horseroads Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy with 25% off all garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horseroads Building Center in St. Kitts and Nevis. Horseroads Building and Nevis Centers, making home improvement easy.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. And guess what? Pay your loan online during the month of February for a chance to win a special prize. So, what are you waiting for? Pay your loan online.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. And guess what? Pay your loan online during the month of February for a chance to win a special prize. So, what are you waiting for? Pay your loan online.
Here are your Horsewood Value Mart IG Value Club Valentine's Specials.
Running February 9 to the 22nd.
Our Value Club Blue Tag Specials, IGA and Essential Everyday Honey Beer, $15.99. Quaker Granola Bars, just $11.99. Or Ida Fries, $18.99. Breyers Premium Ice Cream, $26.99. Tide Liquid Detergent, $34.99. Suavitel Fabric Softener, just $19.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Post honey bunches of oats, $12.99. Snack pack puddings, $5.99. IG and Essential Everyday Cream Cheese, $6.49. Welch's Grape Juices, $15.99. Mr. Clean Liquid Cleaner, $12.99. Dial Liquid Hand Soap, $5.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's head to the phone lines and we'll take some calls. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am blessed.
Awesome. Good
by
to
the
hear.
Almighty.
Good to hear.
Happy Ash Wednesday to each and everyone. Mr. Cornelius, it seems as though you are changing up your program to suit other people. Am I wrong? Am I right?
I'm changing up
you bring some clips there from over Nevis.
I'm changing up my program to suit other people. What does that mean?
No, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll take it back then. Because what happened, I'd like to know when you have Parliament and what the Parliament is all about. It is to tell us what the previous ministers them are doing and what they are doing to help the people in the country, of the federation. They are just there to speak about 7 years administration, and they didn't do anything at all. And one was there for 20 years. What did the one that for 20 years did? That's what they're going in the house to speak about. People in there for 7 years and they didn't do a thing, and too much corruption. But how much corruption is going on in this one now? I'm upset when I hear him speaking about administration was in there for 7 years and they ain't do a thing. What do you mean to tell me? What am I going to tell my children and grandchildren? I had a government in office for 7 years and they ain't do a thing. And one was there for 20 years and I cannot tell you what they did or what they do. One was in there for 15 years, what they did and what they do. So I would like somebody to tell me exactly what Parliament is all about. It's all about going to abuse each other and talking about corruption and not putting the people straight and letting us know what are they going to do about with this crime business and how that lady is now gone home and she will take down on her job. What are they going to do? It is a disgrace of hearing them now. And it is the second time that the Honorable Dr. Daniel Douglas, which I have likeness for, he's not attending Parliament. I don't know about the first one, but this second one, he's off island, and he's not there to make an input of what they are going to speak about. I don't know if somebody could tell me if he was there for the first one, but he's not there for this one. And something is not right and something is fishy. You have a good afternoon.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls right here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls on today's edition of Voices. With regards to your question, caller, Parliament debate bills, and if the parliamentarians see the need to reference former administrations and things that they did or did not do, then perhaps maybe that is something that is allowed as long as it is relevant to the presentation or relevant to the budget that they are, the bill that is before the House. It is up to the Speaker to determine if what the person is bringing to the table is appropriate for the chambers, for the National Assembly chambers. I know at times, we like when Parliament is hot, is heated, when there is cross talk in the Parliament, or when there is, essentially back and forth. And while the parliamentarians would go to Parliament and speak extensively and be very detailed on the various bills that they are presenting, it's like it goes into one ear and it comes out of the next. We pay no attention whatsoever to that. But when there is any back and forth and confusion, that's what we like, and we talk about it, and then we use that to paint Parliament with a broad brush. And so if we are asked, what was said in Parliament today? What were some of the bills that were debated in Parliament today? Our first response, or our response would be, well, all I did today was talk about corruption and cuss each other and go back and forth. But Parliament is there to debate the bills and present bills and make laws. And as I said, if they see the need to make reference to former administrations and some of the things that they did or did not do, then I would say that is their right. Of course, Parliament is the people's business, and you have the responsibility to make laws that would improve the standard of life for all Kittitians and Nevisians and people who call St. Kitts and Nevis home. But I guess they see the need to make reference to some of those to things that may have happened, things that happened in the past, to add weight or make their presentation relevant. My clock says it's 9 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls right here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. You can also leave a comment on the live stream, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, and I will try my best to get to your comment or opinion shared. For those of you who are just joining the program, I started out with a few clips from past and present ministers of health in the Nevis Island administration speaking on the monies allocated or spent thus far for the Alexandra Hospital expansion project, and they were basically detailing some of the monies that have been disbursed. However, there was a discrepancy, or there is a discrepancy in the numbers that they have reported, because on yesterday Tuesday, February 21st, the current Minister of Health disclosed that out of the $19 million budgeted for the project, some $8 million has been spent. However, in December of 2021, the minister with responsibility for health at the time, Hazel Brandy Williams, she revealed that $14 million out of the $19 million had been spent. Now, this would have been easy for anyone to understand if the minister in 2021 said at that time it was 8, and then the current minister came today and said it was 14. There would have been no question. I think the what is alarming, or what requires an explanation, is the fact that in December 2021, we were told that 14 out of the 19 has been spent, but today, February 2023, we're being told that 8 out of the 19 has been spent. So it appears as if the project is still within budget, but there is a huge discrepancy in terms of how much money has been spent. Some may look at this as, not being an issue, but it is. It is. Maybe it's a case where somebody made a huge mistake when they were providing the numbers to the different ministers. Maybe it's a case where somebody did not do their homework and somebody did not verify the numbers that they were giving out or providing to the ministers of health. But it's a huge discrepancy, and it deserves an explanation. It deserves an explanation. Is it $14 million? Is it $15 million? Is it $8 million? Is it $16 million? What is it? How much of the $19 million has been spent? You guys would know that I am one of the very few reporters in St. Kitts and Nevis who seek updates on the project, the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. and try to, get a better understanding of the works happening there. But I mean, this will puzzle anybody. If in 2021 you're telling us that 14 was spent, but then now in February 2023 we're being told that it is 8. So the question, what is the actual amount? What has been spent? 14 or $8 million? The public deserves to know. I think in the interest of transparency and accountability, the public deserves to know how much money has been spent on the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. I mean, this project has received a lot of, airtime or social media time, you name it. It was a major talking point during the last local elections in Nevis, and people have been really wanting to know what's been going on at the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. What is the status of that project? How long will it take for the project to be completed? How much has the administration dispersed to date? We got some numbers yesterday, but we don't know if that is the actual numbers, because about a year ago we were given different numbers. It is 50 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9, and you are logged into Voices for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. Let me use this opportunity quick to extend best wishes to the students, the athletes at the Charlestown Primary School. The sports meet is taking place today at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, aka the Mondo track. I think the sports is happening as I speak. I was on Blue House in primary school, so best wishes to Blue House, and of course all of the athletes participating in the meet. This is sports season, very exciting season for people, and of course the big sports meet in Nevis, the Inter-Primary School Championship, the Gulf Insurance Inter-Primary Schools Championship is coming up on the 5th of April. Let's take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices for today, Wednesday, February 22nd. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. And guess what? Pay your loan online during the month of February for a chance to win a special prize. So, what are you waiting for? Pay your loan online.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Welcome back to Voices. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, caller.
I understand that they are discussing in Parliament the Freedom of Integrity Bill. Is that so today?
The integrity
in public life.
Yes,
bill.
the integrity in public life.
Okay. So who is the presenter of the bill?
Sorry?
Who presenting that bill? Who is the presenter? Who is the mover of that bill?
If my memory serves me correct, the mover of the bill is the Attorney General.
Oh, the Attorney General.
Yes.
Oh, the same Attorney General that I saw something circulating about his case with Social Security and something, not paying Social Security, which to my mind that's an offense, isn't that so? So if the Attorney General is committing an offense, he's supposed to be the chief legal advisor to the government, but he's breaking the law. And then he now have the audacity to come and present Freedom of Integrity Bill. You don't find that strange? Hello?
Yeah, caller, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Actually, you don't find that strange.
Well,
isn't he being a hypocrite to present a bill like that? Isn't he being a hypocrite?
I wouldn't go so far.
Because here on one hand, he's breaking the law. He depriving the treasury of revenue because if you don't pay Social Security, which means you don't pay the housing and social levy either. So there you're breaking the law, not paying your fair share of taxes, but yet you're going to presenting a bill and talking about freedom of integrity in public life. I'm sorry. I find that the Attorney General, as I see, he is compromised, and I think that he should resign his position. If he have any integrity, he should resign his position. And I'm calling on the leader of government, the Prime Minister, to take a stand because that's corruption. And he know, by keeping on the Attorney General, he know he's saying that it's okay to rob the revenue. It's okay to rob the treasury. That's what he's saying. By keeping on the Attorney General. The Attorney General is compromised. He should resign to the honor everything and resign. Resign from today forthwith. Just resign, done with it. And he needs to pay back the money that he deprived the poor worker of. If you're going to have somebody working for you, I'm a businessman and I do pay my Social Security. I do pay my taxes. So he shouldn't get away with it. He needs to resign forthwith with immediate effect. And I'm calling on the Prime Minister. If, I'm going to say this, if he ain't thinking about resign, I am willing to go down Church Street with my placard and call for him to resign. I'm willing to go out there and call upon the government to do the right thing. You say you ain't want no corruption. That's corruption at its highest. Starting with the chief legal advisor to you. So what advice will he give you if he himself is compromised? Okay? I am willing to go down Church Street and I will picket Church Street for as long as it takes until he resigns. He needs to go. He's compromised. Thank you for your time.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. According to my clock here, it is 24 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour. Let's head back to the phone lines and we will take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Yes, good me ask you, Mr. Cornelius, I agree with that caller, the last caller there, yeah? Because when they're speaking about corruption, he is the biggest corruption in any government as Attorney General. And it is unfair because what happened, he's trying to bring down certain people in the administration that he in. And I know some of them are not going to give up what they have to please him. And that is it all boils down to that's why Dr. Douglas is not there to speak on the bill. Because Dr. Douglas is not going to give up what he earned to suit him. And the gentleman is right. He has to resign.
Caller, hold on. Hold on. You said Dr. Douglas is not there because of what?
To suit him, because if he's going to bring a bill.
Yeah, but we don't want to jump. We don't. I understand, caller, that you have your view and your opinion, but we don't want to jump to conclusions because we don't know if it is that Dr. Douglas is not present at the Parliament today. We don't know the actual reason, so we don't want to jump to conclusions. All right.
He has island and government business.
All right, so that is the reason why. Right, so that is the reason why he is not there.
Excuse me, thank you. You don't think that Dr. Douglas knew what was coming about? Dr. Douglas is a very smart man.
Well, I mean, as a member of Parliament, I would assume that he would get the notice that Parliament is meeting, but as noted, he's off island for government business, so perhaps the government business was important as well. Hence the reason he's not in Parliament today, if that's the case.
Cornelius, I like you. You have a good program and you try to set it straight. But the last caller, you hear what he said? That is the biggest corruption that Attorney General ever have in any ministry. If he's not paying Social Security and a poor man is not paying it, what are we going to come of that bill? That's the whole point of it. What are he needs to resign from his position as Attorney General, and he's the worst person to hold that office as Attorney General and the youngest Attorney General to behaving so and getting on like some kind of dirt bike. Mr. Cornelius, I am upset. I don't want to watch it and I don't want to listen to it because it doesn't make no sense of listening to it because that is the biggest corruption we have right now. He needs to resign from this ministry as Attorney General. You have a good day.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINN-FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. If we have no calls at this time, I'll acknowledge the sponsors and we will close out the program for today.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. And guess what? Pay your loan online during the month of February for a chance to win a special prize. So, what are you waiting for? Pay your loan online.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5000. 888 for further details. King Ocean's king size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WINNFM 98.9. WINNFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WINNFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air. All right, this has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you so much for your contribution and participation for today. For those of you who may have joined the program late, let me just do a bit of a recap. So for the first hour, we had Dr. Marissa Carty, the Health Promotion Unit and Non-Communicable Diseases Coordinator, as well as Mrs. Latoya Matthew Duncan, Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator. Both were speaking on the National Salt Awareness Week, which will be celebrated from March 4 to 11, 2023. They also spoke on World Kidney Day, which will be observed on March 9th, 2023. Dr. Carty and Mrs. Matthew Duncan both used the opportunity to share some of the activities that they have lined up and use the opportunity to encourage people to get screened for any kidney issues that they may have, as well as hypertension. Again, the numbers to call regarding getting screened are 467-1233 or 467-1237. That's 467-1233 or 467-1237. Those are the numbers to call for you to get screened for any kidney disease or hypertension. And the second hour, I raised the concern of a discrepancy in reports given by past and present ministers of health in the Nevis Island administration regarding the monies spent on the Alexandra Hospital expansion project. I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Until next time, you guys take care. Bye-bye.